Hi everyone, welcome back for another whiskey review. Now I'm just on a journey tonight. Gonna sit here and do 6 whiskey reviews back to back, all Nikka Whisky, which is just amazing. And I've got my fun shirt on. So if you haven't already, I would strongly encourage you to watch this in a series. I've just finished recording the review of the Nikka Days, which I would expect you to watch first. And this being the second one in the review now, called the Taketsuru, which is named after the founder of Nikka Whisky, Matasaka. I hope I pronounced it right. Taketsuru. And this is what they call in Japanese whiskey industry a pure malt, which is the equivalent of what you might say in the Scotch whiskey industry, a blended malt. So the whiskey that's come into this has come from the 2 distilleries and they've blended it together for our enjoyment. Now, depending on where you are in the world, there was a previous label with it. I remember being a black label, but this is what we've started receiving here over the last 12 months, which is their post-2021 edition, I think it is, with what they call on their own website, a reformulated or sort of a new mix of how they're blending the malts together. So this one in particular, even I haven't tried, if it has changed, because I've tried the other one that was in the black bottle in the past. So I'm actually trying for the first time with you guys and sharing the journey. Now, unlike the Nikka Days, this is bottled in the sort of classic heavy glass bottle, which is similar to the single malt, which I'm going to get into a little bit later on. And let's get into my glass, get right amongst it. Now, in the previous video, I've talked a lot about the pricing and the availability of Japanese whiskey. And this one being the second one I'm talking about, maybe you kind of halfway through the journey, didn't quite catch what I said in the previous video. I'll touch on it very little bit. The number one reason I've personally over the years enjoyed Nikka Whisky, especially here in New Zealand, is it's available all of the time. And it's always very, very honestly priced. So this one in particular retails in New Zealand for around $100, sometimes $95, which is a very, very good price for a blended malt, some would say. Considering there's so much Japanese whiskey that comes here, that is a blended whiskey with some malts, not other, has the grain whiskey in it, and priced absolutely ridiculously. I think you can pick up within the lines which ones I'm referring to, but you'll figure it out for yourself. So very honestly priced, it's available mostly throughout the year. What could go wrong, You might fall in love with this whiskey, and it will be available to you. And you won't pay a ridiculous amount of money for it. All right, let's start to talk a little bit about the whiskey now. On the nose, sweet, rich sweetness. Sort of not quite honey, but there's a bit of like a citrusy character on the nose. Really good. Sweet, and it's got a freshness to it as well, Can't quite pick it, I don't want to say pineapples because that's a different smell, but yeah, there's just that citrusy character in the nose that I'm really enjoying. Oh, so good. I mean, to think, if you had to compare from what you're getting out of Scotland that's available all the time, you do get the Johnnie Walker Green Label, which is a 15-year-old malted blend, which is, blend of malts from 4, I think, different Scottish whiskey distilleries. So if you compare it against that, completely different whiskey. This is very light, very delicate, whereas Johnnie Walker Green Label is a bit more on the smoky side, but very similarly priced, and it's available. Have I said that enough? It's available. That is a key message tonight I'm going to keep saying during all of my 6 reviews of the Nikka Whisky, that it's available. It's actually there. You might like it, and you could go back to it. rather than getting an odd Japanese whiskey, then wondering how the hell do I get another bottle. All right, let's take a sip. Wow. The new reformulated bottling is amazing. There's just so much spice. You know, it's not quite full sherry bomb spice, but there's just so much spice on the palate. Wow. I remember it being a lot more on the subtle, sweeter side on the palate when it had the black label, when the previous blend they had created. Wow. That's really good. I like this. This is good. For $100, this is good. And punches well above some pretty mediocre Scotch whiskey we get at the moment with the number 10 or 12 on it. And it's 40% and just doesn't register. This one's at 43%. And unlike the Nikka Days, which I forgot to mention in the last video, the finish was quite long. This is lingering. That sweetness, that gentle spice, and a little bit of smokiness is still on the palate. It is lingering. Ooh, I'm going to sip it again. Wow. Really rewarding. My palate is just feeling very rewarded. The only thing I can think of right now, and it's taking nothing away from this particular bottling or how they've done the whiskey, I would really like to try the same whiskey, but at a slightly higher ABV. And I think you can sort of see where I'm going now, which is this bad boy here, which is a high ABV, but a different composition. But if someone from Nikka is watching this whiskey, hey, do a limited edition cask strength blended malt. I reckon you guys be onto something true winner, because we get a lot of Scotch whiskey, which is sort of 5, 7, 8, maybe 10-year-old at cask strength. I'm thinking of Abner, Aaron Sherry cask, their wine cask series, the port and all that. I think that particular whiskey at cask strength could really compete with some of those Scotch whiskey. But meanwhile, I like this. I like this a lot. I like the new bottle. Really good. Wow. Get your hands on one in whatever market you are, but just pay attention to the label. You want to get this one. Maybe you've tried out the older black label one, and I may need to dig deep into my open bottles collection. Hopefully, fingers crossed, I've still got a bottle of the old label with a little bit left. I'll do that quite a bit. I leave whiskies for a very long time. If I do find it, I promise I'll do a comparison review. Otherwise, this has been really, really good. Top-notch whiskey for, well, just under $100. But that's all I've got to say about this particular whiskey. If you're liking the reviews, please like, share, and subscribe. And stay tuned for another Nikka whiskey review, which is going to be the Nikka from Barrel Next. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.